Ladies, looking fabulous today.
Thank you very much.
We're good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Please speak for me.
Is it your first time in Brazil?
My first time.
It's not my first time. I went to Rio about 7 years ago. And since I was a teenager, I've really wanted to come to Brazil, and I just love Brazil.
Yeah.
I love Brazil. It's so verdant and lush, and everybody, all the people are just so, there's such a feeling of warmth and great energy. You feel it, don't you, immediately? So yeah, we love it here.
So, did you guys expect that Wednesday would be so huge when you first shot it?
No, not at all. I don't know, I think I'm very naive in the sense that even with a name like Tim Burton's name attached to it, I just kind of thought, oh, it's just a show. Like, oh, it'll go out, because you never know. I feel like a lot of my set experiences are very casual and similar regarding, it doesn't matter if it's a bigger budget or a smaller budget. There's usually some nice, tight community or family aspect, and we always have a good time. And I don't know, I wasn't anticipating any of this at all.
I wasn't anticipating this most overwhelming response, but I think that, if I may say, when I was on set and when I was working with Jenna, I know you don't like this sort of thing, but Jenna's truly, truly one of the most exceptional performers and people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And it became very clear to me that Tim was creating something very special and Jenna is outstanding. And there was a certain energy about the scenes that it felt exciting to me. It felt a little bit magical, but you never know what's going to happen. I did know that Jenna would be exceptional, and I think she's gone on to blow everybody's mind.
Oh, that's cute.
I can't even look at you right now.
Jenna, how do you feel having your own show?
It's scary, I would say. I mean, especially with a character like Wednesday, who's so beloved and means a lot to a lot of people, myself included. I think ultimately you just want to make sure that justice is done right. And also I was able to, we spent 8 months in Romania, and I saw how hard that crew worked. I saw how hard my cast worked. I feel like, I don't know, just a lot went into this job, and I just really want everyone to feel proud of what they've done, or feel like I don't know, I hope that everyone is excited and pleased with themselves. And I don't know, I don't really look at it as my show, because it's such a collective effort, and it's they're my family, and it's nice to be able to share that with them.
So, you have like Tim Burton directing you guys. So how was it? Because he's huge. So what do you do when you got to set and there's Tim Burton directing you? How was it?
Well, I was extremely nervous, but then I'm often extremely nervous. But Tim was someone I wanted to work with my entire life, truly. And his work means so much to so many people. And I was anxious. And I remember when my phone rang, when we said, yes, the job is all happening, and the phone rang, and I knew I was told that Tim Burton was going to call me, and I got this phone call saying, hello, Gwendolyn, this is Tim Burton. And I did take the phone away from my ear, and I went, I said, hi, hello. But when you got to set, that phone call, he was so kind and embracing. And on set, he was just so collaborative and relaxed and respectful and tuned into you as a performer, and would communicate with you in a way that could be economic or maybe abstract, but you always understood what it was he wanted. And I always felt really sort of held by him, and had a lot of fun too. It was such a lovely environment. And for someone that's so huge and such a big name, it is extraordinary the amount of compassion and respect and collaboration and kindness that he shows you. I really loved the experience.
What about you, Jenna?
I think I felt very similarly. I feel he was one of the directors that I looked up to growing up, and he was a big part of my childhood, and just somebody who I have immense respect for. And I don't think that I it had never even crossed my mind the possibility of being able to work with him, let alone Wednesday Addams and be a part of the Addams Family franchise with him. And I think that, you know, from the very first time that I met him, it was very clear to me that he's just a normal, nice guy. He's always so respectful. He knows everybody's names. And yes, like Gwendolyn said, he's incredibly collaborative. And you'd think for someone who's such a visionary and so specific in what he sees, that you know, maybe he's a bit more possessive or a bit more controlling of the way that things go on. But he was always genuinely curious as to what I had to say in my input, and made my voice feel important. And it's one of my favorite experiences I think I've ever had with a director on a set. He's a really, really lovely guy.
Cool. And the series and Wednesday, she has a little specific sense of humor. She's very dry, and she says a lot of things that sounds absurd. Was it fun to play her?
Definitely. Definitely. It was always fun when I was shooting in a group aspect as well, because every once in a while when I was shooting with Tim, I kind of had the luxury of saying random lines and just kind of watching people's reactions. So I think, I don't know that any of them made the blooper reel, but there's a lot of little clips of us just kind of dying laughing or trying new things. And that was a cool thing too about Tim, is he always wanted, you know, we tried to do each take as different as possible, some with no emotion, some with so much emotion, and just kind of see where everything landed. So I felt like we definitely had room to play and explore.
When Larissa, how was it to you when you first got the script? What was the reaction for her to play her?
Well, initially the part was described to me as the headmistress of a school for outcasts, which is a role that many of my friends says I have been typecast in. But it was a real delight, the idea of playing that kind of part. And also to play a woman who has always been second best, has always been in the shadows, and manages to rise to this position of power, but then is toppled and moved around and challenged by this much younger woman, by Wednesday Addams. And I just loved the way the relationship lifted right off the page from when we started acting together and doing scenes, and developed into something else entirely. The great pleasure of working with Jenna was that she was also fearless to take the relationship into many different areas. And it was great to be able to feel free with you.
She's
She really loves you.
If you talk to anybody on the set, you would understand my obsession with Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah.
And I'm not to blow smoke and do the whole thing, but she is the best actress
She's
on
the
the show.
sweetest.
Yeah, our relationship
work
and
with
working
you.
with Larissa, it would not be the same if it were anybody else.
I want to work with you too. I'm in
And she's so
love.
nice and cordial and
Shush,
humble
I can't,
about it,
please,
but
you
she's,
know I can't take it.
but she is.
I'm seeing. So Larissa has a lot of layers, because at first we don't know if she's a villain, if she's a good girl. So how was it? I think is there a lot of acting with your eyes, with your face?
Well, what struck me so much about the character that I talked about Tim initially was, you look at a character like that, a woman in that kind of position of power, and a woman that's very self-created as well, which is hugely fun to me. We don't so often see women, these female characters that are self-constructed, that have gone out of their way as their life has evolved to really create a person. And so what resonated with me was her loneliness. And so in all of that, in that huge office, you know, surrounded by that brutalist art, it really struck me that there is so much going on inside of her that she has to temper, that she has to push down inside of her. And I spoke to her headmistress and about her experiences of running a school. And what really resonated with me and really struck me was how much you have to harness your own feelings, how much you have to work for the greater good, how you have to do the right thing, you have to put on the right face, you have to give a show of strength and to inspire people. And that often there'll be a huge amount of turbulent emotions going on inside, sadness, regret, bitterness, and deep loneliness.
Jen, I have to talk to you to finish this about the dancing segment that you did. Was it like a choreography you did out of your mind? How was it? Because now it's trending on TikTok. Do you know that?
I've been told, yes.
With Lady Gaga's song.
That I didn't realize until like maybe yesterday. It was a really interesting experience. We were shooting Tim's episodes. We were shooting episodes 3 and 4 at the same time. So you know, that week I was speaking German and playing cello, and I think there was a fencing sequence or a fight sequence involved. And then I had told Tim, because initially they wanted me to meet with the choreographer, and I said no, I want to do it myself. This is going to be my thing. Tim and I chose the song Goo Goo Muck by the Cramps a week before, and then 2 nights prior I realized, oh, I've been so focused on the other tasks that I've been have to do for episode 3 and 4 that I have not considered the dance at all. So I just kind of watched as much footage as possible, which I had been doing months prior, but I just kind of took moves that I had recognized or moves that I thought were jarring and weird enough and kind of tried to throw them together. But on the actual day, some of the moves I had planned and some of the moves I hadn't planned, and so it's kind of a mix of improv and just intense research, I would say.
Thank you so much. I love you too. You're the best. The show is amazing. I'm in love. I'm like super expecting the second season, please. And thank you. I hope you have a